Well, I am going to can some jelly today. Sorry if this is dark. This is just a pan that's got all my jars and lids and rings and a couple of utensils in it. And this is a few more tools to use for canning. This extra bowl here is for when I skim the foam. It'll go in that. This jelly today is going to be a jam. It's kiwi with pineapple. Oh, yeah, what the? It's going to be kiwi pineapple jam. I'll be using Sure-Gel in it and a recipe I found on the internet. I will post that down there. There's the sugar and the pan for cooking the jam in. Okay, it just calls for 6 to 8 ripe kiwis. These are really ripe. In fact, some parts may not even be able to be used, but I'm going to scoop them out with my spoon straight over into the pan. I guess I should cut those up just a little bit. So that everything mixes together well. The instructions actually said to start with the pineapple, but the pineapple has already been peeled, and all I've really got to do is cut the meat of it off the core, and I'll save those cores to use for another project. Probably some pineapple juice. I already saved the peelings in the freezer, and I've used them once to make some pineapple jelly, and what's nice about it is that it actually has pineapple tidbits in it, so it worked out really good. Okay, I'll spare you the rest of these. Okay, I don't know if you can tell or not, but the pineapple is still pretty much frozen. And I went and got my dough cutting blade so I can take them apart a little better and get down to the actual pineapple. Then I will cut them up. Okay, I have this much pineapple left, so it's going to go back in the freezer. And while I was gone, I guess I already said that I picked up my dough cutter so I could scoop the fruit better. This is the fruit mixed together. The pineapple is still a little frozen, of course. But as I cook it, that's going to thaw right out, so that won't be a problem. So next I'm going to put the pectin in it. Pectin packages are harder to open than they used to be, so I really needed the scissors. Calls for a whole pack of pectin. Just going to stir that in, and then I will put it on the stove back here. Put the heat to it until it comes to a boil. But first, I'm going to measure out my sugar. The sugar, I believe, is 5½ cups, so I'll go ahead and measure that and get that into a bowl. Okay, let's see if I can get this set. I may not still be able to see it. Anyway, I turned on the fire underneath the lids and rings. Over there. So that they'll heat up, because I want the jars and lids and rings all good and hot when I put the jelly in there. The jars, so that we won't get a broken jar due to thermal shock, because this is going to be really hot when it goes in. And I like the lids and rings to be also hot, so that everything has the same kind of expanded state. So, okay, I'm going to turn the heat on. Hope this fire starts. Yeah. Turn on the heat. Get it started. The pectin is already in it. Just got to bring it to a boil. And then I'll add the sugar, which is right here. I've already put the sugar in the bowl. 5½ cups was the measurement. I've got my jar tongs out, but I couldn't find my magnetic jar lifter, so I'm going to use just a pair of tongs to reach in and get the lids and rings out of the hot pot. I've got my funnel. And I've got a paper towel damp off to one side. I'll be back with you in just a minute. Okay, I've got my fruit and pectin. It's boiling now. Dump the sugar in all at once. It's going to cool it right straight back down. But you stir it all in. The sugar will melt, and it will actually make more liquid in there out of the fruit, because sugar will pull a lot of the juice out of the fruit. So get it all stirred in, where there's no dry sugar left in the pan. It's all mixed and beginning to dissolve. Yeah, there it goes. It's syrupy. Keep stirring until it reaches a full rolling boil. And as soon as it comes to a boil, I'll set my little timer. You see that? I set my little timer just for 1 minute, but this thing doesn't really like 1 minute time. I really need to get a different one for 1 minute at a time, or watch. Okay, I'm not going to keep boring you with me stirring jam. I'll be back. This is almost done. Okay, I can turn it off now. Let it rest for a second. And skim foam off. Foam doesn't really hurt the jelly. It just doesn't give it the best appearance in the world. And the truth is, we can eat this foam until we're ready to open a jar of jelly. Really, really foamy. Try to push it all over to one side where I can catch it. That kind of still looks a little foamy, but I'm going to take all the jelly out. Okay, now I'm going to move this over out of the way. Back it up. It's hot. I'm going to get you pointed down here to where the jelly jars are going to be. My jars are hot, and so are my lids and rings. So now I'm going to take the jars out one at a time. Oops, sorry about bumping the camera. Empty the water. Put could move this a little closer, I guess. I start putting my pineapple kiwi jam in the jars. Okay, they're in the jars. It doesn't look like it because the way the light goes through the water, but there is close to 2 inches of water over these jars. There are some empties in there. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 half pints, and then I got a half of a half pint that I will just put in the refrigerator, and we'll start on that right away. This jam, this is what it looks like. Yeah, it's a little green, and it's got the little seeds from the kiwis in it. But it smelled really good when it was cooking, so I think that this is going to be a good way to use up those kiwis, and I've got a lot of pineapple in the freezer. Okay, I'm going to put the lid on, bring it back up to a boil, and as soon as it begins to boil, I'm going to process it on the chicken. Where is it? On the chicken for 10 minutes.